Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to hop on our virtual health and wellness forums tonight. My name is Maddie Hasbrook. I'm the Associate Director of Health Programming for Special Olympics New York. And for those of you that are watching this recording or may not have joined us before, these forums are a space for individuals with ID, as well as their families, caregivers, coaches, and friends to engage with health-focused individuals or organizations. And the goal of these forums is to cover a wide variety of topics and in turn positively impact the health of people with ID. And we do ask that you make sure you are muted and you stay muted throughout the whole presentation, but there will be time at the end for questions. So I'd like to kick off tonight's virtual forum, Let's Get Moving, by introducing our two speakers, Carrie Delong and Ned Norton. Carrie is a registered nurse and serves as the Director of Healthcare Management for Care Design New York and Partners Health Plan, organizations that support individuals and families in the IDD field. She has worked in various IDD settings in her career, including day programs, clinics, residential programs, and staff training. The focus of her work has been ensuring that persons with IDD receive equal access to healthcare and are empowered to self-advocate. She is an active participant in the New York State IDD Nurses Association and has recently assumed the role of co-chair for Zone 4. Our second speaker tonight is Ned Norton, who has dedicated himself for the past 35 years to providing free strength and conditioning, rehabilitative fitness for hundreds of people with disabilities through his nonprofit Warriors on Wheels. His program promotes the opportunity for people with disabilities to empower themselves to greater independence while enhancing their capacity to live a vibrant, purposeful life. Norton also served for 25 years as a New York State Special Olympics regional sports coordinator for powerlifting. Ned started the Hercules Project, donating free fitness and rehabilitation of equipment to rehab centers in war-torn areas and serving landmine survivors and people with disabilities worldwide. So Carrie and Ned, thank you both for being here tonight, and I will turn it over to you guys.
Well, thank you for having us. I'm excited to talk about this subject. Let me get going. So let's first talk about why it's important to be active. From a health perspective, it helps your body stay or get healthy. It gives you stronger bones and muscles, which help you. Having stronger muscles helps you do day-to-day activities. It improves your blood pressure and your blood sugar. It helps you maintain or reduce your body weight, and it improves your moods. I think is one of the best parts of being active is it releases endorphins, right, Ned? And those help make you feel better.
Yes, the best thing to improve your mood is movement. And
yeah.
You're right. You're 100% right, Carrie.
Yeah. And it's, we're coming out of the winter where we've been a little bit, stuck inside, where there isn't as much natural ways to do activity. And we're getting into the spring. And, part of talking today is about how you can do that safely and how you can make sure that you're prepared in your body and in your mind to be as active as you want to be. Let me move this over. So here's the first thing I want you to know is the first thing you should do before you get ready for spring activities, you can check in with your healthcare team. It might be doctors or nurses that are members of your team, but you want to check in with them and ask them, are there any types of activity that I shouldn't do? How much activity would be good for me? And do you have any tips to help me be successful? You have a team of people that are there to support you, and using all of your resources to figure out what's best for you and how to do it safely is one of the best things that you can do. So always check with your doctor and your nurse before you start increasing activity to find out what things you need to do to keep yourself healthy and safe. Now, can you talk about anything that, like, what activity might not be good for someone?
Well, the best thing Well, like you just said, it's always important to check in with your doctor or your nurse or members of your residence that's familiar with your not only your disability, but what your so-called limitations may be. Now, what you're by doing that, you're protecting yourself, like you're speaking how important it is to do everything safely. Um, and by checking in and finding out all that first, you know where the lines are, so you get as much benefit out of what you're going to do as possible, because everything you're going to do is going to benefit your life as far as keeping you as independent as possible, and to reach your goals that you may have short term as well. But the most important thing is not to hurt yourself. So safety is very important. And Carrie, you're 100% right in using this as the first step on your journey.
Yeah. So that's the first thing you want to do. But then let's talk about some things to stay healthy while you're exercising. The first thing you want to do is, if you're outside, always wear sunscreen. It is very important to make sure you're putting on sunscreen about a half an hour before you go outside, and that you're reapplying it if you get sweaty or it's been an hour or two. You want to put that back on, because if you get a sunburn, it puts you at higher risk for skin cancer. You want to drink lots of water. You want to talk to your doctors about how much water you should be drinking, because there are some things that you can't drink a lot of water with, but you want to make sure that you're drinking water because you're working and your body is using that water. I think it's important to listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, make sure you let someone know and take a break. You don't have to be perfect at anything, and you don't have to push through and when your body is telling you something different. And the other thing I would say is wear layers of clothing, so you can adjust as the temperature outside changes and you get warmer or colder. The same thing indoors, actually, I think probably applies, Ned, that you want to have layers so that if you're chilly, you can put a sweatshirt on, or if you're warmer, you can take that off and just have a t-shirt on.
And like today was a good example. Like the gyms, it's a lot of, like my place, the heat is still blasting my gym, so everybody was soaked. But then when they went outside, even though it was beautiful out, it was breezy and cool. So
Yeah.
I had to make sure you put your, even if you don't zip it up, put your hoodie back on after sweating. Just
Yeah.
to be, I tell you, out of these, Carrie, I would agree that they're all important, of course, drinking water, especially, because of dehydration. But listening to your body is the most important thing. You could have coaches telling you, or people telling you that you're exercising with, but only you know only you are your body. And if you listen to yourself, listen to your body will tell you when it's time to take a break. And try to really realize that, and not ever just to try to work through that, because your body is very smart. It'll tell you when it needs what it needs, and when it needs rest, it's going to tell you. So that's very important, listening to your body.
Yeah, I agree. The next thing I want to talk about is two different types of medical conditions that you need to be extra careful with being active. These are two things. It's diabetes and asthma. And diabetes and asthma occur at a greater percentage or incidence in people that have disabilities. A lot of reasons for that, but a lot of people who have disabilities also have diabetes and asthma. The thing about diabetes is when you increase your activity, your body will use more sugar in your blood to give you energy. And that's actually a good thing, because it helps you control your blood pressure, blood sugar, which keeps you healthy. But you have to be careful, because it might lower your blood sugar too much. You want to make sure, if you have diabetes, you always have your blood glucose monitor and a food or drink that your doctor wants you to eat if your blood sugars get too low. This is very important this time of year, because many of us have been not as active, and our bodies have adjusted to the amount of food that we're eating and the amount of activity that we're doing. When you increase that activity, you could use up some of that sugar that's keeping you high enough to be healthy. Be sure that your coach and anyone who supports you know that you have diabetes and they know what the signs of low blood sugar are to help you if you start to not feel well. The signs of low blood sugar are feeling tired or weak, feeling dizzy or lightheaded. Your skin might look pale. You might feel a little shaky. Your mood might change. You might become mad or anxious. Those are when the blood sugar is low. Your heart might beat really fast and you might sweat. Everybody's symptoms are different. It's important to know what yours are and let your support people, including your coach and anybody who supports you, know what those are. It's important if you feel those that you take a break right away, check your blood sugar, and eat or drink if you need to. The reason that's important is if your blood sugar gets too low, your brain doesn't work right. So you start to get confused. And some people, if their blood sugar gets too low, will actually even pass out. So it's really important that you're taking good care of monitoring your symptoms. Your doctor might also, when you ask your doctor, some tips for success, might tell you to eat a snack before you do activity because they want to make sure you have enough energy to take up the extra. But I've actually seen, Ned, I've seen people just like start walking in the mall and had low blood sugars because they just started walking.
It's a terrible feeling. And
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, the glucose monitor is a vital tool in this whole thing we're talking about here. Even elite athletes nowadays that don't even have diabetes are using glucose monitors to prevent the low blood sugar, because it's an absolutely horrible feeling. And you can, like you were saying, you could pass out.
Yeah.
And just a horrific feeling. I've seen it for years in the gyms where, I would always have like orange juice or something handy because somebody would go down.
Yeah.
And they all thought they had heart attacks or whatever else, but it was because they just ran out of fuel. And man, it's a terrible feeling. So,
yeah.
And
I tell people that it starts to feel like, when you haven't eaten for a long time and you start to get a little bit irritable and you start not thinking clear and your head starts to hurt or you feel a little shaky, like that's how it starts to feel. And when those things happen, it's important to listen to that really closely.
And you're 100% right, because this is the time of year that this happens. Because, like you said, people will be jumping into it without even, without fueling or whatever else. And next thing you know, you're in a world of trouble. And, a lot of people too, like, well, I'm going to lose weight, so I'm going to stop eating. That's another thing. They won't eat, so they won't fuel at all because I want to lose weight. I'm going to go for a long walk. I'm not going to eat. I'm going to lose weight. Well, that's not good. So very important what you got listed here. Just perfect.
Yeah. All right.
That glucose if you have diabetes, that glucose monitor is worth gold.
Yeah. It is so important to bring that with you if you have diabetes and you're going to be more active. Yeah. Asthma is the next one I want to talk about. Asthma, I don't know if everybody's familiar with it. It is where it's hard to breathe. Your breathing to start to close up a little bit. So you get something called wheezing, and it's hard to breathe. The things that are most important with asthma are, first, if your doctor wants you to take an inhaler every day, make sure you're taking that because that helps to keep the lungs healthy. There's also something called a rescue inhaler that if your doctor wants you to use it, you can use when you're having a hard time breathing while exercising. If you're having a hard time breathing, take a break, use your medication as the doctor wants you to use it. It's really important. There's some other things you can do to kind of help along not having problems breathing. If it's very hot or very cold, try to not do activity outside during the hottest and coldest parts of the day. So maybe you're going to do activity outside from, instead of doing it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when it's 90 degrees out, you can do it at 6 o'clock in the evening when it's more like 75 degrees. Or if it's in the middle of the winter and it's really cold in the morning, it might be better to exercise later if you have asthma. You want to pay attention to the air. There's a lot of things in the air that might cause your allergies to get worse. There's pollens and there's air pollution and there's dirt and dust and all that stuff that can make it hard to breathe. So if there's a lot of that stuff in the air, and you can find that usually on the weather, we'll talk about air quality. If there's a lot of stuff like that in the air, it might be better to not go outside and exercise that day and to do, or activity, it'd be better to do it inside. Drink water. I can't say enough how important it is to make sure you're staying hydrated. And again, make sure your coach knows and anyone who supports you that you have asthma so they can help you if you start not to feel well. I don't know if anybody here has ever had asthma or has asthma, but it's very scary when you can't breathe. And it's important to not let it get so bad that it's hard for the medication to work. But really, I'm sure you would agree that like asthma isn't something that should prevent you from exercising or being active. Being active will help you breathe better and help your lungs be more exercised, the muscles that help you breathe be stronger. So it'll actually help your asthma. You just have to take into consideration you have it and do it very safely.
Yes, you're 100% right, Carrie. There's been a lot of studies done where weight training, because of breath control, is really good for people with asthma. Just a couple tips that you touched on that are perfect.
Yeah.
Never forget your rescue inhaler. I mean, that's number one. And please let your coach know what I remember athletes that we used to work with years ago, when the coaches actually had a spare rescue inhaler that they kept. It just in case the athlete forgot to bring it. So that's always important. But you're right, activity is great for breathing. And another thing, again, we're coming into the bad time. Like I noticed it this morning. I saw it on my windshield in my truck. The pollen is going to start soon. So when you check, look with it's great nowadays, because when you check the weather on your phone, if you scroll down, it actually shows, is it a good day to run today? And is the air quality index, it's right there. So that's a great tool. That's a great tool too if you have asthma. That was great for you. It was great for you to bring that up, Carrie.
Yeah, I think it's really, this is when we get into spring activity, between having been not as active for a little bit of time and all of the pollen, that coating that's on your car and on your tables outside, and
Clogs my screens in the gym. It's that thick.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's almost time for the pollinating season. So let's get into setting goals. I first want to say that goals are what's important to you, and they vary by person. Your goal might be to walk to the end of your driveway or the end of your street and walk back. Your goal might be to walk across the room. Goals are relative to what's important to you and what you want to achieve. The big thing is, you might have a big goal, like a big thing that I want to play softball this spring. And that's your big goal, but it's important to break that into smaller goals to help you get ready. So things that you could do would be start to stretch and get your body loosened up for throwing that softball. This will also help prevent injuries. And maybe then you can talk about some stretches that would be good to do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, any of the sports, any of the Special Olympic sports, the best thing the athletes can do on their own. I mean, when you get to your sport and you're doing your practices and everything, I mean, the coach will tell you what to do, but on your own, just what you're saying, Carrie, you want to break it down. It's not always just about like for softball, you have listed softball here. You know, you want to just there's throwing programs where you just don't go out and throw it as fast as you can or throw it as far as you can, which a lot of people like to do. um, you know, there's ways to do it where you start slow, loosen up that shoulder, and there's I have this thing I have. In fact, I have a girl from Hudson Valley that's on the softball team. Her shoulder's ruined, and I had her do one thing, the greatest thing ever. It's called the pendulum, where you just hang your arm like it's dead with like a 5 pound weight off of it and make these small circles one way, small circles the other. And she's already getting better. But I told her, don't stop. You do it. You should do that every day to loosen up. You just don't do these activities. You just don't jump into it, like you said, Carrie. And
Yeah.
good. What's good now, lately is and a lot of the athletes, Special Olympic athletes, have probably already seen it, but the rollers are very good now. People are rolling out their muscles to make them more, loosen them up. Everything is about being loose and relaxed, because relaxation helps performance. If you're not relaxed, you're not going to perform. Body doesn't perform well. Your body performs the best when it's relaxed, and
Right.
that's with the rolling of the muscles and all that body work stuff that you see nowadays on the internet. That all works, and that only enhances whatever you're trying to do. And especially when you're setting goals and reaching goals, that's a main part of what you want to do. You know, your body work, your stretching, your breath work. Breath work is big nowadays. I do the I've been doing I did the PT at the training academy for Albany Fire for many years, and I taught everybody the most important thing they like to learn was box breathing, where you inhale at the count of 4, you hold it for a count of 4, you blow it out for a count of 4, and you do nothing for a count of 4, and you do it for 4 times. And it does something with your nervous system where that 4 cycles of breathing like that relaxes your entire body. And
Yeah.
so that's also part of it too. You control your breathing, because when, like everybody's got anxiety and everything, or they're almost too psyched up to do things. But you're better off if you're completely relaxed, and that way you let your body do what you want it to do.
That's great. I I also think about, like, you might have a disability where your muscles are very tight as part of your disability, and you might get physical therapy where you get some assistance in stretching out your muscles, but anything that you can do at home on your own is only going to help that.
That's
So
right. You're right.
you're right, Dad, that the idea that that stretching and being active only happens in the gym or in the physical therapy office is not the most efficient way to help your body be as prepared as can be for any activity that you want to do.
Right. I mean, it's for anyone. It should be a daily thing. Your
Yeah.
breath work, your gentle stretching. I mean, you don't have to be, there's so much more information nowadays where the crazy stretches we used to do years ago were wrong. And everything is about gentle stretching now. You don't want to force your body to do anything. You want to
Yeah.
relax those muscles, loosen them up, control your breathing. And you know what? If you get into doing it on a daily basis, it's only going to benefit your health and whatever activity you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about anybody else in this room, but I wake up in the morning and I'm like, man, am I stiff? I have to kind of roll my shoulders and stretch out my legs and my arms a little bit just to kind of get moving after I've been sitting down or laying down for, however many hours I slept for. So,
Oh yeah, feeling.
yeah,
Yeah,
it might be even like a lot of people take buses for a long time to get to, like, work or a day program or whatever somebody does during the day. And there are people that are on buses for a long time every day, or riding in a van or in a car. And getting out of that, it's important to take a minute and just loosen everything up and stretch, because you can get an injury if you're not loosened up and stretched out.
Oh, that's 100% right. The worst thing is like getting stuffed in a car or a bus and sitting there for an hour. And then, you can tell when you try to move, you're like, you're like 1,000 years old. Take
Yeah.
a take a second, and by developing these skills at home, like you're controlling your breathing and these gentle stretches, you could take a second after getting, after stuffed in a van all day or whatever, and it'll do you a world of good. I mean, you'll be able to at least function.
Yeah. Well, your body feels better. And when your body feels better, your mind feels better. And when your mind feels better, it helps your body helps you do more things that help your body feel better, which makes your mind feel better. And it just keeps making things better. Not that there are still going to be days when life isn't perfect, but that's kind of normal. That you might feel a little stiffer someday, or your mood might be a little bit off someday. But doing these things kind of regularly will help um, prevent that stuff from happening as frequently.
Yeah, and it gives you like almost you center yourself. I
Yeah,
mean, type of stuff. I mean, sometimes you feel out of sorts. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
by getting into a pattern of doing this kind of stuff, we'll get you back on track. So
yeah.
very,
So we
it's
mentioned here, like taking walks around your neighborhood or park and starting slow and increasing your distance and your speed. You do not, nobody has ever run a marathon overnight, but
no,
everybody has started by putting their sneakers on. And if you put your sneakers on and walk to the end of the street and that's all you can do today, or walk across down your driveway or in your house, that's amazing. And you did that and you should be proud of that. And then maybe tomorrow you go two steps further and very slowly by building on those little tiny steps, those little tiny goals, you achieve like really great things.
that's right. I mean, by setting those short-term goals, like you said, like, okay,
Yeah.
today I'm in the street. Tomorrow I'm going to try and go maybe 2 cars further. That's and you succeed. And if you start succeeding in all those little short-term goals, your long-term goal where you were going to walk, say, a mile or walk to Stewart's, which may be a little less than a mile, before you know it, you'll achieve that. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's so, and there's more to, by succeeding. What is this? What's the saying? Succeeding leads to success or whatever. I mean, but
Yeah.
if you succeed in these little small goals, before you know it, you're gonna reach that big goal. And then
Absolutely.
of course there's no finish line. Then you have to set another goal, and but you'll already know what it took to achieve your last goal. So I
Yeah.
mean, build off your success, but start slow and take your time. And before you know it, you'll be real proud of yourself that you've done more than you ever thought you would. And it was by just doing it smartly.
Yeah. And I would say also your journey is your journey. Don't compare your progress with anybody else's progress because everyone's bodies are different. So just because your friend or your sister or somebody on a team with you is able to do something, it doesn't make them more successful. It means that their bodies are at a different level or a different spot than yours are, and it's okay to have it take as long as it takes for your body to do that.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Natural that, you know, you see somebody else doing something, and then, or I don't know. I don't know. It's just that is definitely the hardest part. But you
It
know what?
is.
But you are very right in saying you have to focus. The only person you can control or whatever is yourself. And the only person that you're competing with, because we get this thing in our mind, we're always competing against whatever, even though
Yeah.
there's not a competition. But the only person you're competing with is yourself. And by setting these really easily attainable short-term goals on the way to your journey to reach your main goal, you're
Yeah.
gonna you'll be very you'll succeed and you'll be happy. Most
Yeah.
important that you'll be happy.
Absolutely.
Comparison is the thief of joy. That's what they say.
You're right. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Um, the other thing you can do is focus on your support network, letting your friends and family and anyone who supports you know that you have a goal and to be more active will help you be more successful. It helps encourage you to get motivated to be more active and to stay active. They can help you celebrate as you make that progress and you have those small wins when you meet those short-term goals. You're bound to get frustrated when something isn't maybe going as fast as you want to, or you're not getting as good as you want to be. You can talk about those frustrations. They can also help you set your goals and adjust them in relation to the activity that you're doing. So always make sure that your circle is part of this plan that you have when you're getting ready to be more active.
Yeah, that can only help you reach your goals.
Absolutely. Let me go to the next. So, Ned, we've kind of talked about this a little bit during the presentation, but tell me, what would be the best thing if somebody wanted to start getting active tomorrow? What would be the easiest thing they could do to get more active tomorrow?
I think we already touched on it. I think walking is the best thing. Just, you know what?
Yeah.
Get outside, breathe in that fresh air and start walking. It doesn't
Yeah.
cost it doesn't cost you anything to go for a walk, especially, well, if it's not raining. But this is the time of the year. This is the time of the year to start it. And just like we said, small, like just to the end of the street today, tomorrow maybe go down to the store, you know.
Yeah. And even if it's raining out, you could go to the store and walk around the mall, or you could go grocery shopping.
Malls are great to walk around. The guys love doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I see
one of the other things that I say is if you're going to go to the mall, don't park right up front. Make sure you're parking far away, because then you're getting a little bit more activity in and you're walking a little bit further.
True too. That's good. But what I see a lot too, the people that are in residences, like I'm going back to your circle of friends, I notice a lot where this time of the year, even staff want to get moving, and they're starting to, because I'll notice that, like we have weigh-ins at our gym every now and then, only for the people who are interested. And I'll say, wow, you're really getting good. And they say, well, yeah, I'm walking with my staff who, they wanted, so they hooked up with somebody right in their own house that they can encourage each other. And, it's enjoy what they're doing. It's fun. And they're making progress and reaching their goals. So
and the best thing about walking is it's free and you can do it virtually anywhere.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? And what's good about this is let's just start walking. And then, like for Special Olympics, they have so many sports like this. The spring is coming up and the sports are coming. You could get involved in it. They even have walking. So, I mean, there's easy ways to get involved. Like another goal, you could start walking from here to the end of your street. But you say, man, I would like to try Special Olympics. That will lead to that eventually. So
yeah,
good stuff. I know there's lots of great ways to get involved without paying. I mean, there's plenty of places to go where you can pay. I mean, the Ys are fabulous. I mean, you can go swim, you can do a lot of things. You can walk around a track, you could shoot past. The Ys are great, and I know a lot of some places are lucky enough where the kids, their staff can take them to the Y, but even they have outdoor places now. Like I know Towasenta has it. There's a bunch in Albany where they have these little things where you can do push-ups at any level. I think like 6 to 8 of them in Albany, and I know they're all over
over the state. They would have them in parks. There's like metal structures or wooden structures that have signs that show you how you can do an activity at that station.
They're all over the place, and it's free. I know that there's one in a park in Bethlehem. I mean, they're everywhere, and MVP put a bunch around, and those are really great because you can use your phone actually.
Wow.
You put your thing on the code or whatever, I don't know, and it shows you what to do, and everything is built on level of ability. You don't have to be Joe, some guy who's ready to go in boot camp to do everything they have there. It's just
Right.
so, and it's outside where you're breathing fresh air. You may be getting a little sunshine with your sunscreen on,
Yeah.
vitamin D, but you're breathing fresh air and you're moving, and
It's
you're
good for you
oh,
all
yeah,
around.
absolutely. And I
Uh,
tell that people are always saying, well, I want to know when I'm going to get this goal or that goal or this goal. The best thing you're going to feel almost immediately is you're going to feel better.
yeah.
You may not have big muscles, or you may not be able to run to Colony Center and back, but you're going to feel better. And what's wrong with that? Who doesn't want to feel better?
I agree. I want to just take a few minutes to remember a few things. It takes time. Don't get frustrated if it's going slow. Anything you do is a win and helping you to your bigger goal. Make sure you're celebrating when you achieve your big and small goals. You're doing the work. Take a minute, give yourself a pat on the back. Be proud of yourself. You're doing something to help improve your health. Talk to your doctors and nurses. They'll help guide you. But the most important thing to remember is to have fun. This is not, it should not be something that's stressful. It should be helping your stress and helping your body. So have fun. Do things that are fun for you. Uh, Whatever it is, whether it's bowling or fishing or um walking, do things that are fun for you.
Absolutely. And I tell you what's good, Carrie, too, is um, you know, what a real good tool too is to write it down. Like, say
Yeah.
you're walking, tape a piece of paper on your desk or on the wall, and you put down how far you're walking today, tomorrow, the next day. And there may be days where you can't do it, but you look back on the wall and say, wow, I remember back 6 weeks ago, I couldn't do half of this. So, I mean, you give yourself a reason there's evidence why you should be proud of yourself.
Absolutely.
All of us are always trying to shoot for something, but we always want more. We always want more, but we never really take time to give yourself a pat on the back and be proud of look what you've done already. Never mind about where you're trying to go. You're doing
Yeah.
you've come such a long way. You're doing a great thing. And main important thing is you're feeling good and and healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go. We have some time for questions. Do you have any questions about how you can be more active or questions about things that you could do?
One of my goals is, everyone, one of my goals is to, I've been gaining some weight and all that, but I've been doing it. I've been eating good. And I've been taking a drink of my inshores and all that because I used to lose weight like crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good point, Alan, that if your weight is too low, it is also not healthy is having if your weight is high enough. And you're right, the most important thing to do is make sure you're eating a balanced and healthy diet and that you're getting the the fuel that you need. So making sure you're eating your fruits and your vegetables and maybe not as much bread and pasta, but you still need it because you need energy to do the things that you're going to do. And lots of people need to drink an Ensure or some kind of supplement to help them have enough fuel because sometimes it's hard. Like everybody's body burns energy differently. So sometimes it's hard to eat enough food to give your body enough energy. So drinking those supplement drinks are really important if the doctor feels like it's important for you.
That's
And
great. Great
yeah,
out that you're actually, you're taking control of your own health by taking all those steps. That's really good.
Well, that's another thing that exercise or being active can help. It can help your blood pressure be better controlled because it's helping you maintain your weight and helping your body kind of get moving. So it's important to do that.
Perfect. So yeah, I just
I,
wanted to thank everybody for taking the time to log on tonight. And for those of you that are interested in watching the recording, it will be posted on our Special Olympics New York YouTube page later this week. And feel free to share that recording with anybody that you're interested in sharing it with. I also am sending a link through the chat right now that is a opportunity for you to give us some feedback on future forum topics or an opportunity to ask any questions that you may not have felt comfortable asking on the live setting. And I also want to take a moment to thank Care Design, who is our sponsor of these virtual health and wellness forums. So Ned, Carrie, thank you both for being here tonight and for giving us this wonderful information. And we hope that everybody has a good night and that we see you at our next forum.
thank you very much. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you, everyone.